Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hello. I don't know if you're all comfortable there. Everything is good, comfortable. And I wanted to put this here just in case I needed to draw and write some things down for you, so that you can see a visual. I didn't bring all my food and everything else with me. Pardon me, forgive me. I didn't bring all the ingredients with me. It would have been probably enough to fill this entire campus. So, I'm Dr. Scanziano, and some of you may know me. Any people new to this, to the campus? Welcome. Where do you come from?
Hudson.
Hudson. And you, ma'am?
Here.
Okay. So, yeah, this campus here is, it's growing. It continues to grow. We continue to grow with our ideas and expressions and creativity here. So we welcome you to our place, and we welcome you at any time. Anytime. Please come back and visit us again for lots of stuff that we offer. So this was a topic that it just came to me in a flash, and it's ever on my mind, and there's always a question as to what is going on in our bodies and why we are getting sick, why we are feeling so unwell all the time, and because most people, at least in this culture, in this American culture, are not feeling too well most of the time, which is really a disturbance. It's a disturbance for me as a provider of healthcare, and if I can take care of myself, I'm hoping and wishing that everybody is doing basically the same thing. Why is everyone not doing what I'm doing? That's a good question. Perhaps you're all not, going to the same schools or reading the same materials. But many of you may be reading the same materials. And those of you who are, kind of questioning and confused about what you're reading, well, there's no question about its confusion, because there is just so much information that's being pushed out on the public, and people are looking and scrambling and searching for answers as to why they're feeling so lousy. And could it be that our food, our source of life, is creating that, is setting the stage for that? And if you're not in a pristine environment, if you're not in the wilds of somewhere and eating directly from the ground, taking directly from the water, and so forth, you are in an area or a region that is contaminated, unless it's pristine. And what is pristine? We don't even know what pristine is anymore. Okay, we've been so contaminated for so long, and this contamination is coming from so many different directions. Yesterday I spoke about radiation. That is one of the biggest contaminators of our world. Our plants, our animals, our lives are being contaminated by radiation at all times. The sun gives us radiation that is life-giving. The earth as well, it's giving off a radiation we call terrestrial radiation. And these are just part of our natural life. But in between all of that, we have put together something artificial that has bombarded our turf, our terrain, our trees, our animals, everything, including the ocean. So these things have to be considered. Radiation is one big factor. There's another huge factor. It's chemicals. If it's not a biochemical, it's a non-biochemical, and a lot of the non-biochemicals are really a problem. Toxic chemicals bombarding us every single day in our food products, in our waters. There are contaminated waters everywhere we turn. We are drinking waters out of bottles that are full of plastics and all of these phenols and phosphols and incredibly different chemistries from what our body is used to. So it rejects this stuff and it gets sick. It gets sick. So the question here, the questions I've asked, just to make it a little simpler for all of you, is, number one, what is it that is doing the damage in terms of food? Okay, many people today know there is a nasty chemical that is in the atmosphere, not naturally, brought on by a certain big agri-chemical company that I think we all know and heard about, and has tried to hide itself in another company. But glyphosate, this has contaminated soils from here to the ends of the earth. This is a chemical that's been used in a pesticide, an herbicide, and so forth. It is a cidal agent, and you've heard of it. You've all heard of this substance. Roundup, and they still sell it, and people are still using it. Everyone is still using this product, and you have no idea about how bad it is to our terrain. Number one, not only does it kill weeds and so forth, it ends up killing little insects and pollinators and so forth. It's killing us. It's killing our guts. It's ruining our microbiome. The microbiome, which is the bacterial world that lives in us and that is hosting us. We are serving the microbiome, and if we keep poisoning it with this substance, and it's not only glyphosate, but this is a huge component, and it's in the soil, it's in the food, and unless it is stopped completely, it's going to contaminate everything. It'll still contaminate. It is seeping in, leaching in, it's in the waters and so forth. So we must be aware of this and not let it continue. And many groups, environmental groups, are really working hard to try to get this out of sight and completely banned. And I believe in India, they've made tremendous efforts to get glyphosate out of the soils, thanks to a lovely physician, economist, philosopher, Dr. Vandana Shiva. She's worked so hard to get the company that makes this really horrible substance, and she's gotten them out, and she threw them out, and it took her about 10 years to get rid of them, and along with the substance. So glyphosate is one, and it's contaminating our food. It is found in pretty much everything, and unless you have an organic product, okay, Organic means that it has not been contaminated with an artificial chemical. It has not been contaminated with this substance, certain pesticides and herbicides and other additives. So organic has there's a whole process, and it needs to be certified organic. And it has to have a label on the food that says certified by the Department of Agriculture here. And if it's not on the label, it's not organic. Okay? If it just says naturally grown or handmade by nature, and it has no certification, no symbol, and I think you all know what that little symbol is. It's a little circle. It's got green and black, and it says USDA organic and so forth. Okay, so you want foods that are either grown at home by you with natural fertilizers. Composting is your best bet, but composting with good quality. You don't want to compost with something that has chemicals in it, okay? So you want to grow your own, or know someone or an organization that's growing crops, that's using conscious, sensible processes to grow the food. Okay? If you don't have organic food, folks, you don't know what is in the food. A strawberry. Does anybody know how many pesticides have been found in a strawberry? 75 different substances. If it is not organic, that's what you're getting. And what is that doing to your chemistry? Not good. It's not good. Your body is trying to defend itself against these foreign substances. These are foreign substances. They are not natural to the body. The body does not recognize a lot of these substances and starts reacting. So why do you think you have allergies, stomach aches, headaches, ringing in the ears, skin disorders that stem from anything from a slight dermatitis to a psoriasis and cancers? The body's DNA, the DNA is being affected by these chemicals that are in these non-organic products. It's not a small matter. You just, fall into a highly processed food category. If that's your thing, if you do processed foods all the time, okay, processed foods means, or should I say highly processed foods. There are lightly processed foods, and there are highly processed foods, and then there are ultra highly processed foods. Now, the lightly processed, you have a bag of carrots or a bag of apples, okay, and preferably organic, and they have to clean it before they put it in the bag, and before they bring it to the shop or wherever you're going to purchase it. Okay, it might not even be in a bag, which is better. But people don't like that because there's a lot of handling so that's why a lot of things are contained in plastic bags, which is definitely not a good idea as far as plastic. So if they can put it in a different kind of container, it would be nice. But again, there's all this contamination and hands-on and so forth that makes it difficult. So most of the things that you'll find in the store have been contained in something plastic. But if it's a recyclable type of material, something that's biodegradable, it's much better, much better. So when you go shopping for things, bring in your own bag. And use your own bag and put the items in. You wash it when you get home, you do all that, you cook it, and you generally shouldn't have a problem. Preferably organic, okay? So, yes?
A large percentage.
I'm sorry?
A large percentage of the population in the United States
Yes.
cannot afford organic food.
That's right.
That's the paradox of the whole thing. Yes, we should all eat organic.
Yes.
Go buy it. See what it costs.
Okay, I understand.
Until they get that under control.
It's difficult. But I'm giving you the facts. Would you be able to afford organic? Does everybody afford it? No.
That's the problem.
That's why it's important to grow your own. If you can grow your own, and because you don't have the means to always go out and buy organic, then grow your own.
But you can go to Aldi and get a lot of organic products at a good price.
Okay, so you find your source. Okay, so lightly processed are the things that I was just saying. Things are put into bags, or they've been cleaned up and ready for you to purchase. The highly processed and the ultra processed, these are foods that have been pounded into powders and jellies and custards and you name it, and put into containers that have to be frozen or boxed with additives and preservatives and things like that have, they don't have a shelf life if you don't have something added to them, right? You can't just put, apple slices in a box and put it on the shelf. That'll be doomsday, for the apple in a matter of hours. So they have to put additives and fillers and preservatives and so forth. Okay, so we get into those highly and ultra processed. Ultra processed is like you just basically put something through a big machine, and everything that was natural and normal and whole now becomes totally fragmented into a powder, into some liquid substance, and they put stuff in it and so forth and so on, and then you buy it and it's in a bottle or in some kind of container, and then you put it in the microwave and all that, and that's another thing, right? The microwave oven problem. So that's going to be some of the other questions. I'm going to answer the other questions here. So I got to go through this fast because we don't have a lot of time. So if you have your choice, you want to have food that is organic, preferably, right? or homegrown with the right ingredients in your soils and so forth, or home raised. If you are someone who raises livestock or wants to eat livestock, it's better that you have it at home, okay, than some other place. But if you have a trustworthy source, that's fine too. I have a problem with trust. I don't trust a lot of things and people, but that's just me. Having seen what's gone on and the corruption that's gone on in the food industry. So anyhow, all right, so we go to organic, homegrown, as clean as possible. Your water sources, okay, need to be, spring water, preferably. If you buy water, please buy it out of glass bottles. And it's spring or still water. Be careful with all these other waters. There's like 1 million brands. Be careful. Most of them are in plastic, number one. And that's not where you want to go. Most of the water on the shelf you don't even want to go to. There are like few brands, like 2 or 3, that you can buy them in glass bottles. But best have a system at home if you can afford it. Where did that man go who said I couldn't afford? If you can afford a system of filtration, there are different ones, and they exist. So you have to decide on your filtration of water, because most water has to be filtered. Between the chemicals and so forth, I don't trust the whole system. I have to filter my water or purchase it in reasonable bottles and so forth. Plastics are in our bodies, they're in our feces, they're in breast milk. They've found it everywhere. Micro particles of plastic, you're all with them. And this is not a good thing because they build up. The fish have them. Or anything that comes out of the ocean, they're finding so much of it. And again, it's in plastics. And ladies and gentlemen who use cosmetics that have these beads that are plastic for your skin, do away with them. Stop buying them, because it's getting into our water, and the fish are eating them, and we're eating the fish, and so you're eating plastic, right? So it's killing us. Okay, so these are the things that we have to look for, and in processed, highly processed foods, all of your fast foods. Again, I can't go through every single thing here, but our fast foods are full of chemicals. And if anybody has seen some of these documentaries, they are true. They are absolutely true. Sick, fat, and healthy, and unhealthy or something. Sicko. There are a few others that are out there. Food revolution. Okay, so you know what's going on, and it's true. It's real. Okay, so we talk about these things again. The when you eat is very important. Okay, most people are eating all day long, all night long. Okay, we can't possibly get better. Can't possibly heal our bodies when we're eating all day, all night. Okay, so you have to find times that are right. Middle of the night is not the time to eat. You should probably, hang it up by, all right, some of us, we work late, we might eat a little later. Okay, but do leave a little spacing, at least 2 hours before you lay your head down, after you eat, okay? But the time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting seems to be working very well, and the model is our ancestors, those who were hunting and gathering and so forth, had only limited time to get their foods and had limited foods. So there were time periods where people weren't eating for perhaps a day, 2 days, and so forth. And our bodies can do that. How many people here can eat and not eat for a day? But you can if you are conscious and you're able to sit down and realize that it's doable and you can overcome your little hunger things. It is doable, okay? We can do the fasting, okay? The intermittent fasting is easier than full fasting, which means no food, no solid food for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, perhaps 40 days. I wouldn't recommend going to 40 days. Only certain people have done that. So the whens would be, again, certain periods of time. So we call it intermittent fasting or fasting, as I said. And the intermittent fasting, and these are, this is what we call time-restricted eating. This would be anywhere from a 4-hour period. In a healthy person, in someone who can do this, 4 hours, 6 hours, some people 8 hours. So if you can do 4 hours and not eat for 20 hours, that's pretty good, you know, because what happens after 16 hours, after that 16-hour period, we go into something called autophagy. Autophagy is the body is now taking its own stores and using them for energy. Okay, you can do that. So don't be afraid, nothing to fear if you don't eat for 16 hours. It's okay, you're not starving to death. Now, I'm taking that in the context that we're talking about somebody who's relatively healthy, not somebody who is malnourished and dying or in a critical condition. That is totally different. We're talking about people like us here. So 16-hour mark, you begin autophagy. And if you can go longer, that is, you can go 20 hours, you can go 24 hours or more, you are in a continuous state of autophagy, and you will feel a little different by the time you reach day number 3 into day number 4. You'll feel like a new person. And if anybody has done this, you can attest to that. Anybody here has fasted for 3 days? Can you tell us about that?
I feel like it depletes the toxins.
Depletes the toxins. How did you feel, ma'am? How did you feel after?
Less bloated.
Less bloated.
I wasn't uncomfortable anymore.
There you go. So the discomfort and the aches, the pain. Some people have pain. They have a lot of pain, or they have brain fog, or they have, you know, all of this going on. Your joints hurt. Everything is bothering you. By day number 4, it's almost gone, if not entirely gone. So that's a great thing to know, that you have the power. You can do this if you pay attention, if you're conscious, and you say, I'm going to do this because it's for my benefit. So pay attention to these whens, okay? It's not only the whats, it's the whens. And so when you eat is very important. And there are various forms of intermittent fasting. Anybody who wants to know any more information about this, I can get into it if you make an appointment with me, and I'll be happy to talk to you about nutrition and how I can tailor it to your needs. Because not everybody's doing the same thing, and not everybody can tolerate the same thing. So we're all different. We all have different needs. It's not one size fits all, okay? So now, the how is the other question. Okay, you know, how are you procuring your food, and how are you preparing your food? Okay, how many here use an electric oven or an electric stove? I should say a stovetop. Most people here in Florida. I happen to have a propane system, so I use gas, fire. Fire is the best way. However, I can't be telling you to go out and buy, you know, have yourself a propane tank and start using gas and fire. But fire is natural. Electric is not. FYI. I don't mean to get you upset. It's not. But electric is not ideal, but you have to be able to tame your electric stove so that you don't have so much of electric heat going into your food. It actually changes the food. So fire is something that we come with, we evolved with. Humankind has evolved with fire, and that fire is very important. It's important to be able to cook certain foodstuffs. We don't eat things raw in their entirety. I mean, we do eat raw things, but we're not going to go around eating raw meat. And anybody who does needs their head examined, okay? We don't eat these things raw. We have fire to help us digest it. And to remove a lot of the substances that are in it. So we need heat. So your cooking methods are very important. And if you are going to use electric stove, which most people are, make sure you're watching the temperature, because it just transmits a hell of a lot of electricity to the food. Again, that radiation thing is there. So native and primitive cultures, they don't use electric stoves. They're using fire. One other thing that I want to say about cooking methods, microwaves. I think many of you know how I feel about this. Okay? Microwaving your food is destroying your food. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you put water in the microwave, you are destroying the water's structure. You're bombarding it with an artificial electromagnetic field. It is no good, and it is not healthy. So don't microwave your water or your food, because it'll come out looking like, you know, like it went in, sort of. You know, it comes out looking like it's all cooked and done, but your nutrients are cooked and done. Microwaving food, no. Sautéing, the saute, the blanch. I don't know if some of you blanch, or blanching is just basically putting like a vegetable or a foodstuff in for about a minute and taking it out, not boiling it long. And that preserves a lot of the nutrients, but it breaks down the cell walls of your substance. So if you have a leafy type of thing, you put the leaves in and you take them out within a minute's time, and it breaks down cell walls, so it's more digestible. Again, we can't digest all raw foods. Across the board, we cannot. There are cell walls that will not open up and give out their nutrients, you know, because cell walls contain nutrients, and we can't get it if we eat the food raw. So you'll get roughage and you'll get some vitamins, but if you overcook it, that's another problem. You're just going to lose a lot. So you have to know how to cook things, and either you blanch them, you can steam them. That's another thing. But steaming, again, you know, you have to time it right, because if you over steam something, you'll cook the nutrients out, right? Vitamin C is extremely unstable in heat, so it's pretty much going to be lost if you are steaming and cooking for long periods of time. So any leafy thing, you know, we should put stovetop, steam it for only a certain period of time, and then take it away, take it off the heat. Things like barbecue are not recommended. There's a lot of unhealthy chemicals that come out of barbecues. Grilling should be kept to a minimum, not too much grilling. So I would say the saute, the blanching, the steaming, baking, roasting. These dry out the food. So when you do bake and roast, you're drying your food out. So these offer more moisture for the food, and it's the more moisture is actually a good thing for us. So we don't want to do a lot of baking, and again, that means a lot of baked goods like breads and cakes and pies and all these other things. We don't want to do too much of. Why? Because they bloat us. They kind of almost paralyze our colons. The more bread you eat, the more constipated you'll be. So we've got to be careful with breads and flour products. Breads. So there's less water in any baked good. So how you cook is very important. Also, not only how you cook, how you eat. Okay, are you eating standing up, running out the door? Are you eating driving? Are you eating lying down, watching your television? Are you eating while you're exercising? Which is kind of an absolute ridiculous thing. Imagine that. So you know, again, how are you eating? So the best thing to do is to make your food with loving hands. Make the food, prepare the food with loving hands. Know how to prepare it, and take it and serve it to your family or whomever, or yourself, and sit down with your food and eat it slowly without the cell phone. without the cell phone. Is that possible? Is it possible to eat without a cell phone? We're all guilty of it, but I'm asking you to be conscious here. Eating with the cell phone, eating with an iPad, eating with a laptop and or a computer, whatever. This is ruining the whole eating, the whole art of eating, the holiness of eating, because eating, my friends, is life-sustaining. We're using food as entertainment, and then we've got the cell phone or the television as more entertainment, and or whatever as more entertainment, right? So it's really a travesty. You go into a restaurant and you're seeing a table, if not your own family doing this, sitting down, everybody's on a cell phone, and then they're eating and they're looking at their cell phones. Okay, this is a problem. I don't know how you feel, but to me it's a big problem. And it's a problem that we need to solve now. So how you eat, sit, relax with your food. Your food is precious. Make it something that you, number one, give gratitude for, gratitude to, just take a moment and be thankful for where that food came from, how the universe brought it to its fruition, and then your preparation or someone else's preparation. We have to be grateful. Don't just grab it and run and chew on it and run in the other direction and forget that there was somebody or something that, came into it, went behind it, and was part of this. So the how is very important. How much time do I have? Do I have a lot of time? Do I have 5 minutes? 10 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes? 10. Oh, 10. Okay. All right. So let me just take this off. A couple of these things. All right, and the other question that I want to answer. Okay, why, how you cook, when you cook, what you eat, and why you are eating it, okay? Are you eating it just because it's there, because you just can't resist it? Are you eating it because you are having emotional swings? Are you eating it? Are you depressed? Are you frustrated? Are you going through anxieties? Why are you eating? So, if people are not eating to nourish the body, soul, the spirit, okay, the mind, we have all these words that we use, then we're not really eating. We're not having, we need to have that relationship with food that is sacred, that makes sense. And if it's not, and it doesn't, well, you need to be counseled, or you need to, you really need to get your head together. It's important. It's important to know this. Food is not entertainment. It's not a toy. It's a source of life. It's a fuel. If you don't put the right fuel in the car or the right fuel in something that requires a fuel or a source of energy, either it's a plug, the thing is not going. It's not going to run. Our bodies will not run if we don't put the right fuel in. And there are too many examples of peoples and even animals. If the animals are taking the wrong substances in, they're getting sick. They're getting totally sick because we're feeding them something that, is totally unnatural to their bodies. Your dogs, your cats, they need to eat live meat for the most part. Dogs and cats. Unlike me, I don't eat meat. My dog needs meat. And it needs to be fresh meat, preferably raw meat, but again, handling raw meat is tough for a lot of people. But these are carnivores. These are different animals, and they are not to be eating kibble. Dog bones, whatever. This is not right, and they're not to be eating grains, and they're not to be eating some, your whatever, your Triscuit biscuits. Okay, you've got to pay attention. What you eat is very, very important. What your family eats, what your dog and cat or whatever you're living with other than the humans, it's going to affect them too. So food has to be looked upon as a source of our life. We are not sun gazers for the most part. I don't know, anyone here can tell me that you gaze at the sun and you get all your nutrition from it? It's done. It's done. There are such people. But 99.9% of people don't. Just a few very special type of people. So, so we have to be looking at our food with a conscious, open mind, and don't be afraid to eat more plants. Be afraid when when you go to your doctor and your arteries are measured and the thickness of your arteries is a little bit too thick. Or your brain is not functioning well, your memory's not serving you well, your body is just out of tune. So that all has to do with what we put in. What we absorb, we become. If you absorb, or you're trying to absorb, artificial food that's been irradiated, food that's been bombarded with chemicals, food that's been really mishandled and improperly thought through, then you're in for trouble, okay? That is absolutely the case right across the board. We have plenty of science to back that up. Moving toward a plant diet, a plant-based diet, is something that I advocate to everyone. People look at me sometimes and say, you mean I can't eat my chicken anymore? It's sad, that people have to be so attached to certain things, and the culture has just been cultivated into a one-way thinking. Like as if the poultry, the bird, is the answer. No, it's not. No, it's not. It has issues. It does have issues. So there's a lot here. There's a lot about the whole subject. When when people come here to the center, they come in earnest. They want to grow food here, join together in community. We have again the capacity here to to have people grow together and share that which is grown. We have great soil that has been cultivated with proper nitrogen and minerals and so forth that make it a good place to grow. And so, this should set an example for others. We really are in a very strange time right now, in case you haven't noticed. If you've been living under a rock or in a closet, you need to come out. Because we have problems with the food industry, with everything in general, I mean, your terrain, your own backyard may be, maybe hit with chemicals from your lawn service people and all that, or whatever they're trying to throw from the sky, and so on. And again, I've mentioned radiation, which is ever present. You put radiation and you're near 5G, and your trees are affected, your plants are affected, it's all affected. I can go on and on about that. So, so these are, questions you have to ask yourselves. You have to ask yourself, am I doing the right thing with food? Am I taking my proper, amount of plants? When people say to me, I have a plant maybe twice a week, I'll eat a little broccoli. It hurts. It really hurts, because we really are coming from the plants. We are inverted plants. We are inverted plants. The tree that we are is inverted, because the brain, the tree that comes like this naturally is taking all its nutrients. This is it's where all its power is coming from, and for us, the roots and so forth are giving us nutrition from our feet and upward. The plants, it's more of this downward, but there are roots in plants, of course. But it's really, when we look at our DNA and we see how close we are and how much we overlap with our DNA and plants, it's unmistakable. We are coming from these, the cosmos, which made all of it happen, the creator, of course, behind all of that. So these are, there's so many, like I said, there are so many things to discuss here, and I can't do it anymore right now. That is, I can continue on with this discussion, but I certainly would take any questions that anybody has and answer them. Yes?
I was wondering, is it important to wash your fruits and vegetables that you get from the store before eating?
Yeah, that's a great question. Washing your fruits and vegetables. If you have, again, an organic product, it's plus minus. If you're a healthy person, organic food, I generally, I don't really go into washing. I wipe it off and then I prepare it. I haven't had a problem at all, and I'm still here, and it's, so I've never had a problem with, not washing organics. The foods that are not conventionally grown, they're called, you may want to do that. You rinse them off. If it's a grain of some sort, something that, like a rice or this or that, definitely soak them. If you have grains and beans, seeds, even nuts, it's good to soak them. Good habits to soak, and then change your water after maybe a little period of time. If you can afford a couple of hours, soak something, and then drain it, and then put water back in, and then cook it. So I would say yes, do some kind of a rinse at least, yes, because you don't know really what's on it unless you have a perfect immune system. Anything else? Yes.
Are the hours we sleep included in the 16 hours fasting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep.
Just check it.
Yes. So in autophagy, it's usually, yes, a good point. Sleeping in this period of time is really what, it would be great to be in that 16-hour period where you're sleeping, because sleeping is powerful. If you're a 2-hour sleeper, you're a 4-hour sleeper, a 6-hour sleeper, a 10-hour sleeper, it's critical for human function. Again, there's 99.9% of us need sleep. There's that small minority that doesn't, because they're in they've transcended everything. So we have to have it, have that sleep, which is growth, repair, renewal, and relaxation. It's just an absolutely necessary part of the cycle of life, the rhythm. It's the rhythm of life. You have an awake cycle, and you have that sleep cycle. You have to be able to repair all the stuff that you went through in the waking hours. You have to be able to give your body a break and fix a lot of the breaks, because it's during your sleep time that you're actually fixing cells. Cells are turning over and repairing, and then you get up in the morning, and that's when you empty out. Okay, you empty out, and your stool and your bladder should be emptying out nicely, not I'm constipated or I can't pee, not loosey-goosey stools, or pity and tiny pebbles. No good. That means there's something wrong. Fix your diets, your lives. Yes?
Speaking of sleep and the cleansing and repairing and all of that, does the kidney and the liver work at the same time during that sleep cycle? I can't remember. Like wee hours of the morning?
During the sleep cycle?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Do they work at do the kidney and liver kind of kick in at the same time? I can't remember.
Everything is working. Everything is working. The brain, every single organ is working in cleanup. Everything is in cleanup mode. The cleaning crew comes in when you are sleeping. Okay? There's nothing that is not cleaning up at night. It's not like this is working only during daylight hours and this is working during sleep, or, there's only certain times. No. The body's a perfect orchestra. It knows the orchestra at night is doing its thing, and so it's like two orchestras. There's a day orchestra, and then there's a night orchestra. And there's a lot of communication going on. The liver has 500 plus duties. So it's working pretty hard. It's working in both day and night cycles constantly. Now, I'm just saying that's an organ that needs to be revered and honored, and we cannot forget our liver, but many people forget their livers and keep doing silly things to the liver. And there's one substance that contributes tremendously to the breakdown of the liver. Not only the liver, but the brain. Now, the brain at night is cleaning up. We have something called microglial cells. They're cleaning the brain up. And those glial cells are essential. And if they are fouled up because of a fouled up life, you will not clean up the brain very well. And you have sticky substances and all kinds of things that start to come together. And we have these tau proteins and other glues that start sticking and block brain pathways. And you will have a fouled up brain. So you need to know these things. You need to know that your food is priceless. You have to make the best of it. You have to live life well, get sleep, get rest, get your exercise, appropriate amounts of those things. You know, if you need 6 hours of sleep, you need it. If you sleep 5 hours, it's not enough for you. For me, I need about a 7 hour. Now I've come down to 6.5. For some reason, I wake up after 6.5 hours. That's all I need. I'm up. But I did need 8 when I was younger. And it was 7. Now it's 6.5. So I'm kind of sleeping less, living more, living awake time more. Yes.
Is it true that the heart has many more neurotransmitters than the brain does?
Many more neurotransmitters. The heart is using several neurotransmitters as far as, all of its, the key signaling molecules and so forth. So the heart and the brain are kind of along the same lines, and as far as it having many more, not that I know of, but they're both very, very important organs, and there's a lot of neurotransmission, chemical transmission, and so forth. Anyone else? Yes.
Are plastics endocrine
Disruptors?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Microplastics are absolutely, and that right now is a big point that is being raised in nutritional science and in the chemistry of the body. The plastics have materials in them that actually enter into hormone receptors. So you can foul up the hormone reception so that there's going to be a turning on or turning off of things, inappropriate hormone turn-ons and turn-offs. So you can destroy your thyroid gland. The neurotransmitters going through the brain and the heart. You can do damage in all of these places. The gut, there's many neurotransmitters going through the gut, and endocrine disruption means that those neurotransmitters are going to be affected, the hormones are going to be affected, absolutely. So that's, that plastics are not good. So we need to be aware, use less, get onto your, glass and, things that are like earthenware, clay, something that makes sense to store things in. When you purchase, make sure you're purchasing things that don't have all this plastic. It's really a problem. Stainless steel. Be careful with the stainless steel. If you can get made in the USA is better than made anywhere else. Because the alloys and all the steel, what happens is in this country, most of the steel is sent out to other countries. I'm going to give you the initial of one country, the initial C. I'm not going to say anything more about that. But what happens is they put a lot of materials together with the steel scraps that come from here, and it's a hodgepodge of material. So lead and tin and nickel and all cadmium and all that crap goes into those pots and pans and whatever cookware you're talking about. So if it's made in the USA, we get a good source, and of source. There's a company called Salad Master. Anybody familiar with? I'll just say, again, I'm not I'm not here to promote anything in particular, but I will say that Salad Master is made in the USA, and the product was demonstrated to me. I did purchase some of their pots, and I tell you, they really stand up, and they're good, and they don't rust or get turn colors. So when your pot is starting to turn black, or it doesn't look like this nice shiny thing anymore, and no matter how, you could try to scrub all that stuff off, but you're really shaving and causing a friction of all those those alloys of metal. So be careful with your cookware, and change your cookware if it's not of high quality. Some people are using the cast iron pots, which is okay for some, not for all. It's very heavy. If it falls on your feet, forget about it. It's heavy. So, choose your vessel well. And Pyrex is another thing that is okay. Just don't put plastic in your oven. I caution against that. Don't, toaster ovens are okay, conventional ovens, convection ovens are okay. Top of the stove cooking, if you have fire, it's definitely a plus. If you don't, you do your best with the electric stove. Am I done? Yes.
I was just going to ask, do you have any thoughts on gut health? That's a big topic,
yes.
Prebiotics, all of that. Is that important to add as well?
Yes, prebiotics, probiotics. Okay, you know what prebiotics are? Everyone know what prebiotics are? Okay. All right, so for those of you who don't, a prebiotic is that which feeds the probiotic. The prebiotics are food for the probiotics, and the probiotics are the microbiome. They're bacteria. They're little animalcules, right? So they're little tiny animals, and they need the right stuff to allow them to make their own substances that will benefit the human body or the animal body, right? Any animal. So you give prebiotics, or you take prebiotics, dogs too, dogs, cats, things like asparagus, onions, garlic, olives, sauerkraut, flax meal. Okay, these are all prebiotics, which is food for the probiotics. So those foods have nutrients, including fats, that the little guys in your gut like. And they produce butyric acid and other nice little acetic acid, all these nice little acids that our bodies use. So those little creatures make that stuff for us. So we have chemical processes that will go smoother when the bacteria produce these things for our benefit. And so your prebiotic and a probiotic food would be any cultured food. Again, probiotic, like a sauerkraut would be more the probiotic. But the fiber in flax meal would be a prebiotic.
Is that a good snack? Because I use the sauerkraut to interrupt my wanting to eat all the time.
Sauerkraut is fine as long as you can handle it. I mean, as long as it's not very salty, and some people have trouble with salt.
Right.
Just a small amount of it, even a tablespoon or two in your day, would be a nice little cultured food to use. And when you use that cultured food, you give yourself good bacteria. You're putting more good in the body with the cultured food. Okay, so it could be miso soup. Miso soup is another cultured food, which I happen to use a lot. And so that's a good, that's another good substance to take in as a probiotic. And then there are the capsules and things like that. You could use capsules. Some good brands would have to be chosen. You have to use the right brands. And anywhere from 30 to about 100 billion colony forming units, not 1 million or 10,000. Okay, we're talking big numbers, big 10 to the 13th power. So when you see a probiotic or that which says probiotics on it, and it's got 1 million colony forming units per capsule, you may as well just throw the box aside. Don't buy it. It's senseless. Because we take in, we have. Anybody know how many bacteria a small life is within us that is hosting us? Anybody know the number? How many? What did you say? Trillions. Yeah. How about that? How about this? Okay, this is 1,000, million, billion. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, something like that. So 100 trillion, if I did the zeros right, 100 trillion microbes. And how many somatic or body cells are there? So this is the bacteria and viruses. There's a lot of virus too. All right, mixed up. So we live with all these microbes. How many of our own cells are there? Anybody? They used to think that there was a whole lot more, but recent science has discovered we are much less than the bacteria. So 30 trillion, so about a third are our own cells, our own little soma cells, which have our own little DNA and mitochondria and organelles, but the bacterial cells outnumber us by far.
What's your thoughts on taking CMOS?
CMOS is absolutely, wonderful. I mean, you use it in your diet regularly?
I used to, but the information, if you're actually taking the proper amount, that it's going to be effective.
Yeah, there are people who are using CMOS for, for a lot of digestive problems, for cancer. I mean, it's kind of used across the board, and different cultures will attest to its value. There's nothing wrong with it. You can add a little bit to your diet each day. It has its own anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-mutagenic properties, antioxidant properties. So, CMOS is not a bad thing at all. Absolutely. Okay.
Is there a better time of the day to take a probiotic?
That could be done, generally whenever somebody would prefer to. I mean, if you can take it in the morning, that's fine. Taking it in the evening is not a problem at all. You can take it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, if you're eating something that has a probiotic that is a cultured food, whichever time you take it, it doesn't matter. It will do its thing and have its effect. There's no bad time.
How long is the wait to make an appointment to see you?
Shouldn't be too long. Yeah, I don't have the schedule, so I think it's reasonable. I mean, it's not like next year. You can probably count on an appointment soon. Yeah. Yes. Alcohol? Okay, I'm sorry. Did you say one drink?
Yeah, 2 for men, 1 for women. That's the usual say. Is that good or bad according to you?
Okay, alcohol has something in it. It has a flavonoid in it called resveratrol. Okay, which is something that the grapes make. All right, they have resveratrol as something that protects them. And these flavonoids that are in our foodstuffs and a lot of our vegetables and fruits are protective for the plants. And so, we have gone in and studied those flavonoids to find that they are protective for us too. So we're going to steal it from the plants. No, they just naturally are giving us something beautiful that will help us. So the resveratrol comes from the grapes, which are the usual source of alcohol or wine, right, for instance. But there are of course, other alcohols that come from grains and things like that. And they have their own benefits. They're somewhat of a cultured food. But the problem is, I don't recommend alcohol. I'm sure doctors and the American medical profession won't like to hear this, but because it's going to change your brain and liver, I can't endorse it. I haven't endorsed alcohol at all. The only drinks I'll endorse are things like kombucha. Kombucha, and some people will say a little beer, okay, if it's organic. But we've got to know this other side of the story. So I'm not recommending alcohol. I'll recommend that which contains the resveratrol, which would be your grapes, your berries, all your berries, the whole line of them, currants, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, and so forth. They have flavonoids. I'd rather you had a nice thing of berries than a swig of spirits, because the brain and the liver are going to be challenged. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It's a real thing. So every time you take alcohol, you take down more liver and more brain cells. So use the stuff that makes sense. Get the whole food. Don't do the processed food, because alcohols are processed foods. Processed drinks, whatever you want to call them. Do I have time? People are asking questions. What? You tell me when I have to stop, and I will shut.
Is too many vitamins good for you or not?
Too many vitamins? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, too many vitamins we don't need and will probably be not good, because, and I've seen people coming in taking 50 at a time.
Yes, I have a friend who takes a lot.
Yeah. So what happens is you get caught up. It's an unconscious thing now. This is not conscious living when you start buying everything that saying it's going to make you live longer, your brain is going to turn around, you'll be 20 again when you're 70, and your hair is going to come back and your boobs are going to grow bigger. These are industries, this is marketing, they know how to get you. And this is a warning to all of you. Beware of marketing. Know your source, and if you have a trustworthy source that you use a couple of vitamins and supplements you take from that source and they've done you well, that's it. Don't be adding. That's why I do some counseling, because most people don't know how to navigate the whole supplements system and or even the food system. So nutritional counseling is something that's lacking in medicine, in the whole medical world. You can't even go to a nutritionist unless you have cancer or you are diabetic or you have a feeding tube. So for your doctor, say myself, to recommend you to a nutritionist, you have to have one of the above. And if you just want to go because you want to lose weight, you want to be healthier, no, the insurance won't pay for it.
Emotional costs.
So if you pay for a nutritionist, you can go. Absolutely. But a lot of the nutritionists again are trained in the conventional way, which means that they're going to advertise and advocate things that are processed. They'll say, oh, you can have that, and you can have that, and you can have that. But some of us have gone beyond the convention to really investigate. So, so know your nutritionist, and yeah, too many supplements will actually make you sick because they are processed and they contain additives and fillers and stabilizers and things like that. So again, you got to look at labels. You've got to know what you're buying. Those things may not agree with your body, and I've seen many people get sick with the wrong substances that they've been taking for a long time. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to have to stop. You can ask me. I got to come off this camera. Thank you all. Thank you.